Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Friday, Payday, December 30th slate of NBA action, man. I'm super excited to dive into it. I do have 3 plays that I do really like. I'm be looking to add another one. We'll get into it just in a little bit. But before we did, I did just want to go ahead and say we are still currently on the road to 11,000 subscribers. You guys showed a lot of love on yesterday's video. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we're on the road to 11,000. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me. So much more than you guys will ever know. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. We did end up losing a little bit of juice as of yesterday, so it was definitely not the best day. We ended up going 1-2 on our official plays as of yesterday. So let's go ahead and talk about those. So, we did end up having our King's Kill Shot play of the day. Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points versus Indiana at minus 105 odds. This one actually ended up working out for us. Donovan Mitchell ends up scoring a basket with like 6 seconds left on the clock to be able to hit his over. So it was definitely really sweaty. I was not actually watching the game, I will be completely honest. I was at the Illini basketball game here in Illinois. But regardless, I just saw that he did end up making a layup with like 6 seconds left to be able to hit his over. So now it ended up working out for us. Then we did have SGA. Really let me down. Over 31.5 points here versus Charlotte at minus 105. Finishes with 28. He really didn't have like a bad game. But the thing is with the game was close. The game was close throughout the end of the last 3 or 4 quarters. The third and fourth quarters, excuse me. The games were really close. And so despite them being close, SGA only shot 1 time in the last 3 minutes. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. I don't think that'll ever happen again. It was pretty weird fluke if you ask me. But SGA finished right with 28. Unfortunately, does not get it done for us. Then we did have Steven Adams. Under 9.5 rebounds versus Toronto at plus 110. I will always admit when I'm wrong. I will always admit when I'm wrong and when I made a bad decision. This was one of them, but it wasn't because, all the stats were there. Like I said, he's only hit the over 2 times in his entire career versus the Raptors. He had gone under in, 5 straight before his last little stint that he had. So the stats were there, okay? But the lineup that the Raptors threw out was Scotty Barnes at the 1, OG Anunoby at the 2. Then they had Hernan Gomez and they had Koloko in there at center. I'm sorry, but that's not even close to the team that I was preparing myself for. That was complete 180. Definitely not making an excuse whatsoever. I did lose at the end of the day. There's no doubt about that. I did lose, but that was just weird. That was just really weird. If I would have known that lineup was going to be thrown out there, I would have hammered the over. I mean, I could probably go out there and get 5 rebounds against that team. It was definitely, it was weird. It was so weird. Was not expecting that lineup. I even tweeted about it saying that, he might end up with 50 rebounds. And I tweeted that before the game even started. Finishes with 8 in the first quarter. So, ends up not working out for us. Ended up going 1-2 on our plays. Hopefully we can go ahead and bounce back today, though. We also did have our consensus play. We had the Pacers plus 5.5. Another cash. We've been crazy on the consensus plays. Hopefully we can keep that going for sure. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. So for our King's Kill Shot play of the day, we are going to be going Domantas Sabonis over 40.5 PRAs here versus the Jazz at minus 125 odds. Now, if you don't have PRAs and you are looking for an individual line, I'm really fine with any of them, but if I had to pick one, I would probably go strictly points. I'll kind of talk about it here in just a second. So, Domantas Sabonis has hit this over in 6 straight games, and this is his second game that he's going to be coming off of his wrist injury. So I do think this line's a little bit low for that. He has also hit the over in 4 straight home games, and 2 of those last 3 games that he has played at home, they've finished with triple doubles. So if he's going to go ahead and go out there and give us a triple double, I think he can hit this with ease for sure. And in the last 7 games, the Jazz do allow the second most rebounds per game to opposing centers. So they have given up a lot of rebounds to that center position. So I do think it's a pretty good spot. But what I really do like, Domantas Sabonis, as great as he is, he's very skilled inside the paint. He's very skilled at getting to the basket, finishing, and even in the mid-range, he's pretty good too. Well, Utah allows the most points in the paint in the entire NBA, and Domantas Sabonis only attempts 1.2 three-point attempt per game. So he doesn't really shoot a whole lot of threes. He loves to get to the rim. He loves to finish. He loves to shoot mid-ranges, and that is going to be so detrimental here to this Jazz team. It's going to work in our favor for sure. Also, Utah, not necessarily the greatest defense. I know they started out hot, but they are 25th in defensive efficiency. And Domantas Sabonis last game versus the Utah Jazz ended up dropping 42 points. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and do that again. He has a much different team around him. But regardless, he has seen success versus the Jazz. So I think that he can get it done here for us again. So that is going to be our first official play of the day. Domantas Sabonis over 40.5 PRAs here versus the Jazz at -125 odds. Now for our second official play of the day. This is the last time. This is the last time. If this lets us down, this team is done. Okay? This team's absolutely done. This is a make or break. But we're taking DeMar DeRozan over 37.5 PRAs here versus Detroit at -110 odds. Now, DeRozan is normally a player that you do want to fade when he is at home. He's, like, from a statistical standpoint, he's so much better on the road. But I do think this is a really good spot because he is 18-7 to this over in his last 25 games, and he has hit the over in 8 out of his last 10. 80% clip. I'll take my odds on that one. He has also gone over in 7 of his last 8 home games. He's been really good at home here recently. He's been carrying this Bulls roster, and I think he does that once again. Also, in the last 7 games, the Pistons do allow the 3rd most points per game to opposing small forwards and the 10th most rebounds per game to opposing small forwards. So they give up a ton of points, give up a ton of rebounds to that small forward position, and I'm not worried about a blowout whatsoever. I know my Chicago Bulls. I know them like the back of my hand. They've only won 1 game by 20 plus this year. Other than that, they've kept every single game close or they've gotten blown out. And I know that. As a Bulls fan, I know that, unfortunately. I'm not worried about a blowout. We beat good teams and we lose to bad teams. I would not be shocked if Detroit ends up winning this outright. But I do think that DeRozan does have a pretty big night. I really do like the spot here versus a young Detroit team. I think that he is going to see a lot of success. He ended up hitting his over last game versus Detroit, so I think that he can do it here once again for us. So that is going to be our second play of the day. DeMar DeRozan over 37.5 PRAs versus Detroit at -110 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, we are going to be taking the Denver Nuggets -4.5 here versus the Heat at -110 odds. Now if you take a look at it, the Nuggets, they've been pretty good here recently. They have covered in 4 out of their last 5 games, and the Heat, not necessarily a tremendous team this year. Like when it comes to covering, when it comes to winning basketball games, the whole 9 yards, they haven't really been too tremendous. They are just 6-8-1 against the spread on the road this year. And the Nuggets, on the other side of things, they're kind of starting to trend in the right direction. They've covered in 4 straight games here versus the Heat, and they've covered in 6 of their last 7. So they do have the history on their side too. The Nuggets have taken advantage of this Heat team over their last 7 matchups. And the Nuggets, they are 8-7 against the spread at home. I know that's not tremendous. I know it's not screaming that you should be taking this, but they are positive against the spread at home, which is what I do like because this Heat team is definitely not. And the Nuggets, they have won 6 straight home games. So they've been pretty good here at home recently, so hopefully they can go ahead and continue that for us. I think they can win by 5. I think they could even win by 8 or 9. So I think it's a pretty good spot here to be taking the spread. So we're going to be riding with it. Nuggets -4.5 here versus the Heat at -110 odds. Now I will go ahead and say that I am looking for an additional play. I do want to have at least 4 plays, maybe even 5. I really do like the slate today, but we are still waiting on lines for literally half of the games. And not only are we waiting for lines for half of them, we're also waiting for the other teams. So like, for example, the Bulls game, they only had the Bulls props. and it was only Zach LaVine, DeMar, and Vucevic. They didn't have anybody else's props up, so we're kind of waiting for the other side of the teams too. But if I do end up adding any plays, as always, it will be in the pinned comment section and on my Twitter. So make sure you guys do check out both of those spots. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the consensus play of the day. So we are going to be going to the 76ers and the Pelicans game. The Pelicans are currently 2-point favorites. They are still going to be without Brandon Ingram. Looks like Larry Nance Jr. and Herb Jones are now listed as questionable. And the only injury here for the 76ers is Tyrese Maxey is looking like he's going to be probable. So it looks like he will more than likely play in this one. And so from left to right, we do have Brady. Brady is going to be on the Pelicans. We do have Mitch. Mitch is going to be on the 76ers. We do have Ryan. Ryan's on the Pelicans. And we do have Seth. Seth is also on the Pelicans. Personally, for me, I'm going to be taking the 76ers. But, as always, the consensus play, I'm going to ride with my guys. You know, we've been red hot here recently, 17-6 to start off the consensus plays. Is absolutely unreal. It's close to 70% hit rate. So we are going to be riding with it for the consensus play of the day. Pelicans -2 here versus the 76ers at -110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we're on the road to 11,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Sander signing out. Peace.